I said to Danap, I said, bring your rod and bring your license. I said, we'll go out and we'll fish.
So I had a lie. Oh, a truck, I got to do this, I got to do that.
You know, and then he gives me some story about his truck. His truck is brand new. I said, well,
No, it is going in for service.
It is going in.
well,
but
yeah.
When is it going in?
Whatever it is, it is.
Wednesday.
Right? So then I called around to try to get, you know, and Willie has a day off, and he says he can't go.
Uh-oh.
Oh well, I said.
Yeah,
maybe
right,
he's
Tuesday.
Got something he had to go
Did
do.
you start to think it was something about you?
No, not at all.
That's right. Maybe he didn't want to go.
The 75th birthday for me is it's important for one thing other than just another day in the calendar. My father never made it to 75. He would have been 75 in October 15th, I think, right?
No, 9th.
It was October 9th.
9th, okay,
9th,
whatever.
yeah.
And he died in on August 20th of his 75th year, of what would have been his 74th year and change. So I calculated when I would have lived as long as my father, and it was when we were in the Antarctic doing our Antarctic cruise. So I says, I'm pretty happy if I can beat him out. You know. So I'm figuring, man, I got how many days I had to go. So I forget. I think it was. I calculated the date, and it was sometime when we were in the Antarctic, and we passed that. So to me, that was the important day.
Yeah.
To be able to.
How about your mother? How old was she?
Well, she's 78. Got a little whiles to go, but she didn't make 78. She died on June 30th.
30th coming up.
Now, everybody in my family that were significant to me died on a day that ended in 0. My grandfather died in April 30th. My
Steffi's birthday.
father died in the 20th, August 20th. My mother died on June 30th. My uncle died, Uncle Jack the priest died in July 30th. So I figured, well, I'm going to go on a 0 day. So you've got to keep, just keep
So
track
how
of
old
the
was Uncle
zeros.
Jack?
Uncle Jack was 90.
Wow.
Hey,
You
one,
got
I
some
think.
genes there too.
So
Well,
yeah,
it's coming up, Mike.
Tough it out, you said?
Tough it out.
No, we'll try to tough it out. That's a good point. But when you really think about it, and I think about my life as to what I had to go do, I was premature in 1943. I think I was six months, and I got born 5 months something change. So babies at that time didn't live at that age.
Right.
But I was extremely fortunate. There was a doctor on Dr. Fagan who lived on our street, good friend of my grandfather's, and they kept me alive. Them and there was a nun named Sister Hickey in St. Peter's Hospital, and I was in the hospital for a couple months, I
This is
think.
New Britain. Where was this?
In New
Jersey.
Jersey,
In
St.
Jersey.
Peter's.
New Brunswick.
New
In
Brunswick.
Yeah. So in reality, I shouldn't have made that. That's it. And I've had some things that happened in my life that you probably shouldn't have. I was hit by a car when I was 14, and I played, or 13. I played left field that night at the ball game. I got a ride in the ambulance, and the normal doctor thing. But at that time, they didn't. If you had a head injury, it was
Normal.
nobody
Sit
cared.
out one inning, right?
So the guy said, I said, can I play? He says, yeah, go ahead and play. So I went and played. And then we had our experience in September of 95 when we rolled Tommy's boat over.
September
And
7th.
September 7th. And,
That was exciting.
You can almost see the place from here.
yeah, that was very exciting.
Right.
So
Yeah,
at,
remember that?
when we had done that, and a lot of people thought, where did you think you were going to die and all that stuff as part of that event. And yeah, I thought about that, but it never really dawned on me or said anything until I thought about it weeks later. And I thought, all these things I've done that I shouldn't have survived, I've survived. So I must be meant to do something
else.
good,
Something else left.
something left. And I always said, well, if I am, I hope I'm smart enough to recognize what it is and that it gets done. I think you all are tribute to what that is.
That's a big piece of it.
And-
It's probably most of it, right?
You know, I remember talking to the priest at St. Patrick's. I was telling him that story. I forget that priest's name.
Is St. Patrick's in
St. Patrick's down in Mystic.
Mystic? Well,
And I mentioned to say that, and he said, oh, you never know. He says, you'll figure it out. You just had to live. That's all it was. And so, okay, fine.
Catch lobsters.
Be that as it may.
catch lobsters, right?
But I've thought about that a lot over different times, and been very fortunate, extremely fortunate to live to 75.
It's still active, right? I mean, very active.
Still pushing along, and hopefully we'll push along a little further. We've had an agreement between Tom and Bob and I, and that we always wanted to be 80 years old and going down the river looking for stripers.
Well, Tom has already.
We've
Tom's there.
already done that. with that.
Already done.
And now it's up to Danap and I to get to that point. Then, and
We
hopefully
got
Tom will be
five
with
and
us and
6
we can
more
do that
years.
one more time, and we'll get that done. So it's, you know, if I've done what I was supposed to do, hopefully I did it right. If it isn't, maybe it's still to come. But I think of all you here, and that's
Don't make me cry.
that's important. And I thank you all.
This is
Thank
your
you very
legacy
much.
sitting here.
Yeah.